Today, I'm going to see if I can finally run in Saucony shoes again.
People come and people go through high streets we know. Dark and light, day and night. No one knows what the future will bring. All or nothing. Gotta mean something when you're misunderstood. Gotta mean something when you're up to no good.
5.36 miles, 8 minutes, 36 seconds per mile, 147 beats per minute on average today. Going for a nice and easy run for the first time in a long time in the Saucony Ride 13. Now this is a shoe that I really enjoyed, but I had to put it down for a while because it started, or at least I think it was part of what started hurting my knee about 3 months ago. And it was back then that I made a video called "Is Saucony Bad for Me?" Because my knee started hurting. It really bothered me when I did the FKT attempt of the Heritage Trail, where I ran about 30 miles in the endorphin speed. And at the marathon mark of that run, my right knee really started to give out. I just kind of lost all power to it, and it was really painful to keep moving. I kind of chalked that up to just running 30 miles, and I didn't really think much of it. But when the pain didn't go away very quickly, I thought that maybe it was the shoe, or maybe not so much the shoe. I think the way that I expressed it back then, which is consistent with what I'm thinking now, is something along the lines of that I have a muscle imbalance that is causing a weirdness in my gait cycle. My foot strike is a little bit awkward, and that leads, when combined with high mileage, to a vulnerability to a specific type of injury that comes from having a hint of stability on the medial side of my running shoe. So 3 months ago, what I did was I put down the Saucony shoes and decided I was going to stop running in them. I was running in both the Ride 13 and the Triumph 18 at the time. I also reduced my mileage and intensity, and I made sure to kind of redouble my efforts to maintain consistency in a leg strengthening program that I'd already been doing since earlier in the spring, so like a half a year ago. But I hadn't been really that regimented about it, so I made sure that I was doing that regularly. And I did that for about a month, and I started to feel a lot better. Still not 100%, but better, to the point that I picked up the Ride 13 again, and I also started running in the Saucony Endorphin Shift. In 1 week, I ran in the Saucony Endorphin Shift twice and the Ride 13 once, so that I could make a Ride 13 versus Endorphin Shift comparison video. And after I made that video, that's when my knee really went into a tailspin, and it just went from okay, but like frustratingly not getting better, to just like, this is terrible. And at that point, I really started trying to figure out what is going on with my knee. It doesn't seem like just like an overuse injury, like you overdid it and you need some rest and time off. Rest wasn't really solving the problem. So I did a lot of just Googling and internet research. I know that could be like a rabbit hole in and of itself, but I do think that I got some productive information from it. And searching for a diagnosis from it. And I think what's going on with many is I have a tendonitis, or a runner's knee. I might have kind of like a double tendonitis, because sometimes I feel the pain above the knee, sometimes right below the knee. It kind of moves around sometimes depending on the day. But primarily, I think that I have a quadriceps tendonitis. And so I've been doing a lot of massage in the area and doing some muscle strengthening specific to that kind of injury, as well as doing all the other things, reducing intensity, reducing mileage, staying away from the Saucony shoes. I think I figured out what glute activation is. That took forever. I still am not 100% sure, but I think I know what glute activation is, and I think I'm activating my glutes now when I'm running. And I even experiment with the whole variety of different types of knee braces and KT tape. And also I've been doing a specific warm-up routine before I go out on my runs. So basically I've been trying to leave no stone unturned. The other thing that I also did was I switched the side of the road that I've been running on. So for this year, I've been trying to make more of an effort to run on the left-hand side of the road. In the US, that's against traffic, because a lot of you guys have been telling me that I've been running on the wrong side of the road. But I've always preferred running on the right-hand side of the road with traffic, especially around here and the types of traffic that they have in rural Iowa. I just feel safer running with traffic. I also feel safer for both me and other motorists that are out there too. I just feel like it's safer for everybody if I stay on the right-hand side. Plus, I have noticed that my knee feels much better when I stay on that right-hand side. And I think it's because of the pitch of the road. The center of the road is kind of at a peak, and roads are kind of like slanted so that water doesn't accumulate and puddle up on the road surface. And so when I'm on this side, it's good for that knee. When I was running on the against traffic, then I kind of was like running at this angle with my right knee, and my right knee just didn't like it. So I did that for 2 more months. And my knee has been getting much, much better. It got well enough to the point that last month I started a 10K training plan using the Stride subscription service. And that has been low mileage, so that felt good to me that I could do that. The intensity is higher, but overall the mileage is still low. And my knee's been feeling much, much better. I still feel it. I feel discomfort every once in a while, but the knee is feeling much stronger, and it's like I could see like the light at the end of the tunnel. It got to the point where this week's workout, earlier this week on Tuesday, I did it in the Saucony Endorphin Pro. I had absolutely no problems with that at all. It was a threshold workout, ended up being a little bit more than 6 miles total for the day. I did feel like a little bit of discomfort by the end of it, but usually these days, after about 5.5 miles or so, that's when like my knee starts to kind of reassert it. So just remind me that like, you know, you're not 100% yet. But I have also done a long run. I did a long run last weekend of a half marathon distance. And again, the knee wasn't like 100%, but I was able to get through that run without having to stop because of knee pain. So overall, things have been going really well. And I thought, you know what? I'm ready to pick up this Ride 13 again. And I've been really wanting to, because I do enjoy the shoe a lot. I like the power run that's in here. I think this is probably the best ride that I've run in the last 4 years that I've been running in this shoe. The padding that's up here, which was a little bit of like a minus for me in the hot summer months, is now nothing but upside now that we're in fall, nearing early winter. It's super comfortable. It helps keep me extra warm. The upper is roomy and relaxed, and this power run is nice and cushioned. When I went for a run in it today and I started running, I just felt great, and I was hoping that it was going to be like a bad dream and I could just resume running in this shoe a bunch, because I do enjoy it. And I was enjoying myself today until I got to like the 2 mile mark, and that's where that pain or that discomfort that I feel normally at like the 5 or 6 mile mark, that started appearing really early, like at 2 miles, maybe 1.5 miles. So I already knew that like, okay, I wasn't imagining this thing that's been going on with these Saucony shoes. It's definitely something about this shoe that is just like hitting my knee, hitting my foot in just the wrong way and doing something to me. Then I kept going and to the 4 mile mark. At the 4 mile mark, the knee kind of had like evened itself out, and it wasn't really bothering me anymore. But then I got like a shin splint type of pain, which is something that I got kind of early on in this like whole, you know, several month-long journey. It started out as like a shin splint type of pain, and it's something that I remember when I was running in the Freedom 3 much earlier in the year, and at that point I didn't connect the shoe, the Saucony shoe, and a potential hint of stability to any of the pain that I was experiencing. But you know, it's a similar thing that's happening with these similar types of shoes. I think that I still do like the shoe, and I think my knee is recovered enough to the point where if I wanted to, I can kind of start sprinkling it in here and there, maybe like once a week, twice a week on some of these shorter runs. It's something that I can try out. For me, I consider it like a gauge of how like my leg is progressing in terms of like building up that muscle strength or correcting those muscle imbalances that left me vulnerable to kind of this kind of pain and discomfort. So I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing. I think I'm on the right track. I'm feeling better than I felt in the last 3 months. And so I'm feeling very optimistic about it. But I think for like, you know, diving right back into Saucony shoes, I can't do it quite yet, but I think we could start. We could start like easing into those waters again. So that's my update on whether I still think Saucony is bad for me. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about any of kind of the meanderings and the different things that I've been experimenting with and testing and just trying to figure out. I'll be happy to answer any of those questions. Or better yet, if you want to stop by the live stream that I do every day, 3 p.m. here on YouTube, I'll be happy to answer any of your questions there as well. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?